And ball one is high in game two of today's action in the North Carolina qualifier for the Travel Ball National Championship, powered by Nations Baseball and TravelBallSelect.com, the most competitive youth baseball in America. Drew Hinesley and Rob Bruno again alongside here for game number two, and it's Nick Panitko, number 42, at the plate for the Huntersville Hornets, taking on the Carolina Reds in game two. And on the mound for the Reds, it's number 23, Jordan Thurman. And Thurman throws his third straight ball.
Drew, I had to go do other duties for Travel Ball Select. We're putting together a nice highlight montage for the end of the year and running around to different fields. And I left the last game, and the Carolina Reds were down 2-1, and they end up winning 5-2, and they're coming back to their second game of the day.
Yeah, you left. A lot of action happened, so I guess we'll see you later.
Well, I think the Carolina Reds parents said, maybe you might want to go cover another game for about the next 6 innings.
Or at least until they have a healthy lead. No, we're glad you're here. I mentioned that during the game. You wear a lot of different hats, and you're talking about this highlight package. It's more almost like a reality TV show, isn't it?
It's a little like a reality TV show, and they think I'm going to be the Guy Fieri host of Travel Ball reality shows.
Well, Guy Fieri, of course, with the Food Network.
Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, one of my favorite shows.
Great show. Do you have the hair like Guy? You're wearing a hat today, so I can't tell.
I wear this hat for a reason. the hair comes off every other day. And it doesn't help when it's about 45 degrees or about 35 degrees wind chill factor out here in Rock Hill, South Carolina. It's a beautiful city, by the way.
Beautiful city. Just cold today.
It's just cold. Got a little cold front coming in. It might get up to 60, they say.
And Panatko steals second base. 0-1 count.
I've always wondered who they was, but
Hunter Harrington at the plate. Hunter, the shortstop for Huntersville. There's number 3.
Hunter Harrington for the Hornetsville Hornets. That's a mouthful.
And the wind is howling since we're on the H's.
It's a heck of a day. Again, the shortstop camps kind of on second base. And that left hole is really wide open.
Swing and a miss by Harrington. 0-2 count now. Top of the first here, game number 2. Carolina defeated Lake Norman in game 1, 5-2. Big home run by Blake Sherrill. 2-run homer to give Carolina their first lead of the ball game in the 4th inning of that ball game, and they never relinquished it.
With a win like this, that's a big shot.
Yeah,
cold out here.
The wind is coming across this field from the left field foul pole all the way to the right field foul pole. And his home run was a rocket shot over the left center field wall.
That's a big shot.
So yeah, cutting into the breeze. The breeze will always cut it down if it's moving away from you. If the wind's with you, kind of as we were talking about golf earlier, if the wind's with you as a righty going from right field to left field, it tends to add some distance on it. But it's cutting it down.
The draw.
Absolutely.
I was a duck hook guy, unfortunately, or a slice.
And another ball.
Couldn't control a fade much.
Got a full count here on Hunter Harrington with Panatko out at second and a walk. So the second walk, and just like we saw in game 1, Carolina having a tough time controlling the strike zone, or commanding the strike zone early in the ball game, and it might get them into some trouble once again.
Well, this happened to them in the first game. To Darius Good through that first game, and he had tremendous stuff. Kind of settled in that second, third, and fourth inning, and did a very nice job.
He ended up throwing 89 pitches. Did Good in that first ball game.
And Good, play on words here, but good for the coach to pull at that point. He's their guy, there's no question. But he's looking out for his best interest and health down the line, and kudos to that coach.
And now Thurman delivers a strike to the 3-hole hitter for Huntersville, Cameron Finesti. Finesti, the designated hitter, wears number 5. Runners at first and second, nobody out here at the top of the first. And not sure you can fake a throw to second.
If you step off, you can.
Step off, you can. He didn't lift his leg, you're correct. Swing and a miss, strike 2 to Finesti. Both runners aboard due to walks. So pitch count already going up a little bit for Thurman in the early going here. Delivers an 0-2 pitch. Curveball laid off by Finesti. Good eye there. Ball was in the zone for a moment, but did not cross the plate in that spot. So,
Drew, one of the reasons why I coach and announce is because when I played, I would have swung at that pitch.
there's a whole lot of reasons both of us are sitting on this side of the fence today. And up and in, and again, Finesti shows some good strike zone awareness, laying off of that one as well to even the count at 2-2. Still no score here, top of the first. 2 runners on. And the runner goes from second. He is going to be safe at third. Stolen base by Panatko. Harrington did not leave from first base. So runners now at first and third with nobody out.
He very well could have got a good jump and went on his own.
And that was ball 3, so now a full count to Finesti. Let's see if Thurman can get him, and he does. Strike on the outside corner. And that's the first out of the ball game. And now that brings up the cleanup hitter for Huntersville, number 9, Ryan Dowd. Dowd will be on the mound when Huntersville heads out in the bottom of the first. Panatko at third, Harrington at first. Dowd at the plate, 1 out, top of the first. Down and away, runner goes from first, no throw. We'll give him a stolen base, although it would probably be ruled defensive indifference. So now 2 runners in scoring position for the cleanup hitter Ryan Dowd. 1-0 count. 2-0 count as ball 2's down and away.
Nice job by the catcher. That wasn't an easy play.
And that is Ryan Brown back behind the plate, 2nd game in a row for Carolina.
It's not an easy duty to catch a doubleheader. Tough on the knees, and especially because he's so tall.
Well, and you remember the thumb issue he was having in the first game, catching Good's fastball.
Good's fastball will be tough when you didn't have a thumb issue.
3-0 count now to Dowd. There's a base open, but you don't want to fill them this early in the ball game with Michael Smith waiting on deck. That is ball 4 high on 4 straight pitches. Dowd reaches base. And now number 45, Michael Smith, the Hornets' first baseman, steps to the plate. Nowhere to put him.
They might be making a change right now.
I think they are. This is the 2nd visit by the head coach for Carolina. And now this will bring in number 22, Cameron Evans. So Evans, listed as the designated hitter, will now be put into play. Jordan Thurman listed as the pitcher with the leadoff. Actually, Cameron Evans going to come in and run out to left. And Luke Wright, who came in relief in game number 1, will slide to, looks like, 2nd base. So a lot of substitutions
here. He's the
here.
smartest guy in the field, by the way. He's wearing a sweatshirt.
And on the mound now, number 3, Blake Sherrill. Blake, the MVP of game 1, with a 2-run home run in inning number 4. Give the Reds the lead, which they never gave back. So now Sherrill.
Drew, this is a situation today where you just can't give up many runs. There are going to be a few undefeated teams, but they're only going to take the top 2 seeds. It's just imperative that these teams keep the run count down because there very well could be some ties in this deal as far as runs allowed. and it's going to be the two teams with least runs allowed that'll be moving on to the championship game, that third game. It's a kind of a do-or-die, must-win situation, combined with keeping the run total down. So the coach had a quick hook in the first inning, but it's understandable in this situation.
Well, and I stand corrected. It is Joel Haney, number 3, on the mound. I was listing Blake Sherrill, position number 3, first baseman. So let me get my columns right in my scorebook, and I'll give you the right guys in the right positions. But it's Joel Haney now on the mound for the Reds. All the runners on base belong to Jordan Thurman. Now Michael Smith at the plate. "20 pitches delivered by Thurman. Only 1 out recorded."
And the good news is they can possibly bring him back. He's obviously one of the guys.
Hot shot to third, force out at the plate, down to first for a double play, and that will end the inning. That will end the inning for the Reds. 1 pitch, double play from Joel Haney.
Pitcher's best friend, huh?
That'll go down
1 pitch double play
as a 5-2-3 double play, and that ends the top half of the first. Still no score. We go to the bottom. Reds coming to the plate. 0-0. And welcome back to the North Carolina qualifier for the Travel Ball National Championship, powered by Nations Baseball and TravelBallSelect.com, the most competitive youth baseball in America. Drew Hinesley here with the play-by-play, and Rob Bruno wearing several different hats today, including being my color commentator for most of the time. Here watching the Carolina Reds come to the plate, their second game in a row. We've watched them play, and it's Jordan Thurman, who started the game as the pitcher, threw 20 pitches and was relieved by his teammate Joel Haney, who's on deck, batting second. Joel threw 1 pitch, got a 5-2-3 double play to retire the Huntersville Hornets before they could score a run. But Jordan trying to acquit himself now. He's going to be the designated hitter, or he could return as a pitcher later in this game. But he sees ball 1 float high, 1-1 count now on the Reds' leadoff man. And a swing and a grounder to the pitcher. And Dowd, the Huntersville ace, floats it over to first base. Easy 1-3 put out.
interesting way to hit it, almost like a running start there.
Softball slappy there.
A little bit such like that. I'm sure he runs pretty well. Leadoff hitter.
And now it's plate Joel Haney, who's now the pitcher for the Reds. Ball one above his head. Not a lot of power shown so far from Dowd from Huntersville. Going to have to probably rely on a little bit of control, which is also missing so far. First couple of pitches. That one down the middle, fouled back, out of play. 1-1 count now on Haney.
He's not an overpowering guy. He's going to have to rely on changing speeds, hitting his spots. A lot of guys have been very successful doing that. Pitching is not just about velocity.
He's in a squat position as he comes set. Do you like that?
For some guys, some pitching coaches love guys to stand tall. The University of Virginia has guys in a little bit of a squat like that because it engages all their leg muscles, and so there's some validity to it. I like both. I like what throws strikes. Whatever throws strikes is good for me. A nice base hit through the left side, 5-6 hole.
Yeah, Haney's single puts him on first base. First base runner of the ball game for the Reds, and now that brings up Kadarius Good. Good playing.
One tall second baseman. Second base before. I think they switched him out of there, but he started at second today.
Started at second. He's not there anymore. We'll have to keep an eye on that when he takes the field in the top half of the second. Haney leaves from first, standing up, stealing second base. Not a real strong throw there from the Huntersville catcher.
He didn't really have much of a chance either.
Thompson Amos.
He got a great jump.
Again, not a lot of speed coming from the arm of Dowd. So we're going to give the Reds a chance to run a little bit probably while he's in the ball game as ball two gets away from Amos behind the plate, and Haney trots over to third. I'm going to score that a pass ball. It gets Haney 60 feet away from home plate. It is 60 feet, correct?
It's a little bit farther than that. I'll get you the dimensions. It's not quite the Little League dimensions. It's a little bit farther.
Okay.
We'll get you the dimensions.
3-0 now for Good. Blake Sherrill, who homered in the fourth inning of his first game today, on deck. Certainly wouldn't want to see him with two runners on if you're Huntersville. Dowd watches strike one go right down the middle. Excuse me. Good. Watches strike one go right down the middle from Dowd.
The Carolina team looks like it's really kind of settled in. A little bit nervous probably first couple innings. Probably cold. Getting a little warm now, and they're starting to play some pretty good baseball.
They also faced a very good pitcher in game one who, as he began to wear down, they started to take advantage of him. That may have given them some confidence as they started to wear him down of anybody else they're going to face today. I doubt they're going to face too many guys better.
Baseball, I think, is all about confidence.
Carson Arnold did a great job for Lake Norman early in the game. Carolina wore him down, and confidence should be sky high here as they're facing Dowd of Huntersville. Swing and miss, strike three. So Good retired as out number two. Joel Haney standing on third base. Blake Sherrill now to the plate.
Hitting the ball out of left center like Blake did that first game, that's impressive.
For a two-run homer in the fourth inning, Blake struck out his other at-bat in the ball game. This one hit right back up the box. The throw in time to get him for out number three, and that ends our first inning. No score. We head to the second. Huntersville coming to the plate. And welcome back to the North Carolina qualifier for the Travel Ball National Championship, powered by Nations Baseball and TravelBallSelect.com, the most competitive youth baseball in America. And we're in the top of the second inning, where it's William Dunnigan, number 21, left fielder for Huntersville, at the plate. Swung on, foul tipped off the mask of the catcher, Ryan Brown. Brown already had a little bit of a thumb injury in the first game. Don't want to see him take too many more shots in this one.
A catcher's equipment is also known as the tools of ignorance. You've got to be a different breed to be a great catcher, that's for sure.
Yes, you do. I know a couple of good ones I grew up with, and you're right, they're a little bit different. Popped up, that's going to be out of play. Strike 2 on Dunnigan. Jordan Thurman started the game on the mound for the Carolina Reds. He threw 20 pitches and then was relieved by his teammate Joel Haney. Haney threw 1 pitch in the first inning, retired 2 outs with that pitch. That's pretty good efficiency. And now he's back, about to throw his 5th pitch of the ball game, and a 1-2 count to Dunnigan. Swung on, chopper to short, where Tadarius Good is there, and no problem with his arm to get out the speedy Dunnigan.
He doesn't have to really come get that ball. Just get it in his glove and let it rip.
Took his time, still got Dunnigan by about 2 steps there, and now that brings up Corlin Kaufman. Kaufman, number 12, the right fielder for Huntersville. Swung on, popped up the middle, good. Not going to be able to get there. Ball hits the ground, and Kaufman will be credited with a single there.
It's a line drive in the scorebook. Drew, would I be dating myself if I mentioned Mr. Haney? I always think of Mr. Haney of Green Acres when I hear that Haney. I think I might be dating myself there.
Yeah. None of these kids have any idea what you're talking about. Some of the parents, I doubt, would be able to dig that one up. I do know what that show is because I watched it growing up. It just happened to be on TBS every night, either before or after the Andy Griffith Show, which my father made us watch.
I watched it live, and you watched the replays.
I watched the reruns.
That's right.
But I watched the first wave of reruns.
That's it.
And a stolen base by Kaufman.
Bang, bang play there. Nice throw by the catcher.
Very good throw.
Ryan behind the dish, right?
Yeah, Ryan Brown back there. Yeah, Ryan's a
kid.
He's a good asset for the Reds.
Certainly is.
Not quite in time there as Kaufman now takes a little bit of a lead from second base with 1 out here in the top of the second. That's high. And we've got number 34, Nick Clark, at the plate. 1-1 count now on Clark. 1 down. Ball 2 down and away.
A little interesting thing about youth baseball, and this is more so in the South because we don't do this. I live in California on the West Coast. The on-deck batter is on the side of what the hitter is instead of on their own side. So it could be their own side, but it's always opposite of where they might get a foul ball. And it's a safety deal, and it's understandable. And I'm actually kind of surprised we don't do it on the West Coast.
Yeah, I was a left-handed batter, and I always hated it because I was usually always behind a righty, and if I was in the third base dugout, I was always warming up with my back to the pitcher as the foul ball comes right back at my head. And I forgot I had a fence between me and the ball.
That cyclone fence does wonders, doesn't it? You can see through it. It protects you. It's outstanding.
I'm just now getting out of basketball season. Basketball season, balls don't come flying at you that quickly. It takes you a while to get your sea legs back under you for baseball season. As Clark hits it right back at the pitcher, Haney. Haney's able to handle it for put out number 2 of the top of the second. Kaufman able to advance over to third on the fielder's choice.
And you're the announcer for Georgia State.
Georgia State women's basketball had a tough year, finished the season on a 6-game losing streak, so we're hoping to end that with game 1 next year, which will be early November. Seems like a long way away now, but before you know it, I'll be getting ready for that ball game. Amos swings at strike 1.
To the West Coast this last year.
Got to go to your neck of the woods week before Christmas to play San Jose State and then Santa Clara, both in San Jose, California. But we made sure we visited the San Francisco area and took a tour around Alcatraz and the San Francisco Bay, as I'm sure you're very familiar with. Beautiful, beautiful place, one of my favorite cities in the world. A little expensive to live out there, though.
It's too expensive to live out there, but it is a beautiful area. I'll tell you, I love the South. I come out here a lot. Everything's green. Unfortunately, it's a little bit cold today, but it's beautiful. The people are so nice. I love it out here.
1-2 count now on Thompson Amos, the catcher for the Huntersville Hornets. He's a lefty catcher. You don't see that very much. Ball 2 now, Amos.
Well, left-handed hitting catcher. He throws right.
Right. Left-handed hitting catcher.
They're at a premium.
Jason Kendall, last I remember in the big leagues. Is that correct?
Well, he threw right, but he's a switch hitter.
Switch hitter.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I've got a big leaguer, Jason Castro, that played for me. That's for the Astros, left-handed hitter.
That's right.
John Jaso, I've got another one, plays for the Oakland A's.
Okay, there you go.
Big leaguer, he hits left-handed as well.
There you go.
They're at a premium.
As a Braves fan, I pay more attention to those National League teams, and you just named a couple of American League catchers, so that's why I'm not quite as up to speed with those guys.
I got to coach against Brian McCann for years, and knew Brian when he was about 15, 16. He played for a good friend, Gary Baldwin, who is the head guy at East Cobb Baseball, really the premier program in the country.
Yeah, many of our crew, including our producer Amy Walker, is familiar with him. Yeah, Brian McCann will, I think, have a very good year hitting in Yankee Stadium.
Brian is a prime-time guy. He'll fit in just fine there. Now, the Braves have a very good catcher now, though.
Evan Gattis.
Yes, big, strong guy.
Yeah, he's a big, strong guy. Defense might need a little bit of work. We got very used to Brian and his ability to hold runners and to control the pitching staff, so we'll see how Evan settles into that role as our full-time backstop in Atlanta. But
one of those things, if he drives in more than he lets up, he'll be okay.
That's kind of what we hope we were getting with Dan Uggla, but hopefully he would drive in more than he lets in. Unfortunately, right now it's the other way around.
But
Swing and a miss.
He still has great arms.
And Amos, he does have great biceps.
He looks good in short sleeves.
And Amos strikes out to end the second inning for the Huntersville Hornets. We head to the bottom of the second, still no score. Reds coming to the plate.
Yeah. It's there. Nicky P has a lot of speed. They figure they're going to throw that guy out. He's got a good arm behind the dish. But Nick got down there in a hurry.
And good off the bag to take the throw, not in position to at least give a chance at a tag to get Nicky P. Patel scores the first run of the game for the Huntersville Hornets. So Huntersville, I gave Nicky P a hit. So 1 hit, 1 run scored here in the top third inning as the wind is really starting to pick up here in Rock Hill.
It's lifting up our tent right above us.
Again,
I feel like Dorothy or the Wizard of Oz right now.
Hopefully this is the tail end of winter, but unfortunately the front that's taking it out has some bite to it.
Nobody told the big fella.
Ball 2 now to Hunter Harrington, who also walked in his first at-bat, stole second, and was stranded on the double play that ended the inning. Now a strike on the outside corner makes the count 2 balls, 1 strike to the Hornets shortstop.
That is a mouthful. Hunter Harrington of the Horneville Hornets.
And foul tip back to the screen. 2-2 now.
Huntersville in North Carolina. We are in Rock Hill, South Carolina, but the majority of teams, from what we understand, are from North Carolina.
We're about 10 miles as the crow flies from the state line between South Carolina and North Carolina. Right in that top nook of the state, and the runner goes. Nicky P safe at third as Harrington rounds first to threaten him. If you're going to do a double steal, you might as well do it right there. Send the guy, make him make a play on this rundown, and with Nicky P's speed, instead they decide to hold everybody at their station.
They're putting pressure on the defense. Ball 4 there, and now they've got Finesse, number 3 hitter, I believe.
Finesse, designated hitter, who struck out looking in his first at-bat for the first out of the ball game.
I think officially they actually list those guys as extra hitters because they can come in and play a position, do different things. One of the things that I like about travel baseball, youth baseball, is they can use that extra hitter, especially if you're playing everybody. It gives another bat in the lineup. But what it also allows you to do is you can pull that extra hitter in and have him go play shortstop. Go warm up the shortstop to relief pitch, but give him an opportunity to warm up and not just come in cold. And I like that. It's a good safety thing. It's a good speed up thing. It's a good rule.
Yeah, I'm just aging myself by saying designated hitter. And now the runner goes at first. They throw down. This time Good cuts it off behind the mound, which is what it was probably designed to be done the first time around. Huntersville accomplished the double steal. This time Nicky P sees the cutoff, stays at third, but now 2 runners in scoring position. Strike on the outside corner.
0-2 to the 3 hitter. Civvy sets up high again. They have a tendency to do that. Let's see. But as low as can be a breaking ball, as high as can be a fastball.
Fastball up and in. That's a ball.
And that's a good job of sequencing and changing eyesight. Fastball up, breaking ball down. It's really tough for hitters to adjust like that. Any hitter at any age.
Finesse facing a 2-1 count right here. Swung on down the right field line, drifting foul. They cannot get there in time. Strike 2.
Runners did a really nice job. They're both tagging on that thing. They're ready to go. If it's a foul ball and you catch it, well, you might as well be on the bag. There's no reason to be off the bag. And I think they recognize that it's going to be a foul ball.
Almost wish you could see more of that at the major league level. Guys sometimes don't pay enough attention to that. Give themselves a chance to advance a bag, even score a run on a foul ball down the right field line or left field line.
Even at the big league level, you see guys just rely on their natural ability. The guy that comes to mind is Yasiel Puig, who really hasn't learned to play the game under control yet, but he is so gifted.
Chopper up the middle. That's going to get through. That's going to bring a run home, and maybe 2. Throw comes to the plate. It's going to be high up the third base line, but that chases Harrington back to third. Harrington almost could have run under that.
Harrington could have scored, but the coach is kind of playing a little bit conservative. There are no outs. He's got his number 4 hitter coming up, so he knows his hitters and he knows his runners better than we do.
And Finesti advances to second on the throw.
Read the arc.
RBI single for Finesti.
So Mr. Dowd is up next. They're changing pitchers.
They're going to pull out Joel Haney, who has worked a little bit, and now number 12, Tyler White.
Yeah. Well, there we are.
So here we go. We get to see White on the mound. That will be it on the mound for Haney. The 2 runners on base are his responsibility.
Mr. Haney, not of Green Acres fame. It's a different Mr. Haney. Tyler White's long lever, tall kid, much like Mr. Good was in the first game. He's got a little giddy up to his fastball, looks like. He's a guy very possibly that they were holding back here, Drew, for maybe that last game.
36 pitches for Haney. Again, the 2 runners on base, his responsibility. It's now a 4-2 ball game. What was looking in the early going like it could be a blowout for Carolina after they came back and won in their first game. Now Huntersville starting to challenge that notion.
Huntersville settling in. Again, it's their first game of the day. They took the Carolina Reds 3 or 4 innings.
I like how White comes right over the top, that 12 o'clock delivery from a righty. I always found as a pitcher, when I released it from that 12 o'clock position, my control always improves. When I released it from the side, I may have a little bit more movement as a left-handed pitcher, but my control wasn't as spot on as I would like it to be. And for a guy that never reached 90 on the radar gun, control was my number 1 weapon.
Well, it creates a good down angle, especially White being a tall young man. He's probably 5'8", I guess.
Tall, lanky young man, which is what.
And he's got some sleeves on, which I think is a smart thing today. Albeit not the right color, but who cares? This is not about fashion, it's about results.
A little bit of a body frame reminds me of another Atlanta Brave, Mike Minor. As strike 1 swung on by Ryan Dowd.
Mike was a little thicker though, wasn't he?
Mike is a little bit thicker, but in terms of the body frame, shoulders, the way they set up a little bit, just from my vantage point here behind home plate.
Right.
And again, White's got plenty of time to thicken up a little bit, get in a weight program, and add a little bit to his legs.
Your Braves had a young man that I'm pretty familiar with that played with us a little bit, but he's from Southern California. It's Tommy Hansen.
Tommy Hansen.
Tommy's a great kid.
Back out in Southern California.
Yes, he is. Back home.
Unfortunately, I believe he was optioned down to AAA late in the year last year, wasn't he?
He was. He had some pretty good success early with the Braves, though.
He did. I actually saw his debut at AAA in Gwinnett, Georgia. It was quite an impressive show as Dowd is struck out looking. Speaking of Tommy Hansen, he did that a lot at the major league level. So that's out number 1 here in the top of the 3rd inning. It's a 4-2 ball game. Carolina leading, but Huntersville trying to get back in it. Pitch gets away, and Harrington going to scurry home. He is going to get there in time ahead of the throw. Hard to see down there at home plate. Again, a lot of weather came through the area in the last 24 to 48 hours. It's very damp, and home plate is just about the same color as the dirt that surrounds it. But the umpire on top of it there to see Harrington score. And now it's a 1-run game.
Digging it out.
And over to third goes Finesti. And that catches the outside corner. Michael Smith now at the plate, the lefty first baseman. Now faces an 0-1 count. That one a little bit low, good straight four-seam fastball, but just a little below the knees. Swung on. Third baseman comes home, no force. He's got to tag him. He does. And that's out number 2.
You either have to slide or avoid the tag. Really didn't have much of a chance. The one place you don't want to hit a ground ball in that situation is to third base. You really try and hit that ball up the middle.
So Smith on first thanks to a fielder's choice, but now 2 outs in the top of the 3rd inning. And at the plate is William Dunnigan. Dunnigan, left fielder for Huntersville, watches strike 1 catch the top right corner of the strike zone. Yeah, Smith really does have a little bit of zip on that fastball, doesn't he?
He sure does. Nice and loose.
Short lead at first. Check swing. Yes, he went around. So that's a strike number 2 on Dunnigan. 0-2 count now on the Hornets left fielder.
I'm not sure if he actually went through there, but I think the umpire kind of anticipated that he did. And sometimes when you wait a half second longer as an umpire, you're going to make a better call.
I was taught by some very good umpires, and they always said when you see a pitch, once the catcher catches it, you say in your mind, that is and then you make the call. So a little bit of a delay, but you ensure a little bit more accuracy with your calls.
Instead of anticipating. I would agree with you.
And the umpire saw that one. He said that is a strike on the outside corner, and that will end the top of the 3rd inning, but not before Huntersville gets back within 1. It's a 4-3 ball game. Carolina leading. They're coming to the plate in the bottom half of the inning. Fly ball down the left field line in foul territory. Absolutely. Retires and out in foul territory, and that's the 3-hitter, Tadarius Good.
Drew, he made that play because he didn't need it there. He greeted it there. He didn't kind of go with that thing. He set up under it. He did a good job not drifting.
Absolutely. I was taught as a center fielder growing up, you run to the spot the ball's going to be and then adjust if you need to a step or two one way or the other. Too many guys, even at the big league level, drift into it. They catch it, as you say. They're going with it instead of getting to a spot, letting the ball come to them. Especially, I hate when I watch a guy at the major league level drift into a ball when a guy's tagging. It takes their momentum away from the plate. They can't plant and throw as soon as they catch it. It takes a few tenths, even a full second to get the ball out of their hands longer, and usually it allows a runner to get there safely if they do that.
That's the difference between what I call meeting it at the spot and greeting it at the spot. Set up behind it, greet it, you're there, get momentum through. You're absolutely right. It comes from your center field prowess.
That's what I did growing up. I was a pretty fast guy running around out there, but then at the collegiate level could not hit like they want you to do it from the outfield positions, but I always had a real good arm, so they put me on the mound.
You were a good 4 o'clock hitter, but the game started at 7. Is that what you're
Exactly.
telling me?
I was really good at 4 to 4:30 in that B group. Unfortunately, when I was facing the opposing pitcher, it wasn't so hot. 3-1 count now.
Just said hi to Don Mason, and Don's one of the partners at Nations here and does a heck of a job. He's running this tournament here, and he actually has to go up into the hills for another tournament for 2 hours away. He says he's probably going to fight a little snow up there, believe it or not.
It's that kind of day in this region in northern South Carolina, western North Carolina. Just a chilly day, hopefully the last day of winter. Bruno, you're a California guy. You're from the northern California region, so you're used to a little chilly weather even at this time of year.
Once in a while, but we've had the longest drought, I think, on record. It was the driest year ever recorded last year, and I was in shorts in January. 70 degrees.
Sherrill coaxes a walk, and now over at first base running for Carolina is the extra player, Thurman, number 25. Thurman taking a lead at first base, a couple of steps off there. Now he takes off, swing down the left field line. It's going to be foul. And that's going to send Thurman back to first base. He had a good lead there. And Rob, I was always instructed to take a lead 2 steps plus your body length.
2 steps and a dive, right?
2 steps and a dive, absolutely.
It's interesting. They have to. We're thinking of 90-foot bases, 6-foot tall people. And, it's a little bit shorter here, obviously. I believe it's 70-foot bases. I'll check this. So the dimensions are a little bit smaller. You were used to taking 3 shuffles from a lead, and here it's almost like 2 shuffles because it's shorter. It's like 50 feet instead of 60 feet. So, they adapt. These kids do play an advanced type of baseball for this age, though, no question.
Swing and a miss, strike 2. Runner goes. Thurman, he's going to get to second without a throw. Yeah, once these kids get to some higher levels and they're playing with grass on the infields inside the base paths, I always used the edge of the semicircle. That was always a good barometer for me as a leadoff guy and a base stealer. That's where I wanted to be. I wanted to be out there at the very least. And the ball dropped by the catcher. He got caught right in his cup, and he dropped the ball. The umpire didn't call time as the catcher fell to the ground and dropped the ball. And Thurman, very aware of the situation, runs halfway, stops, then decides to go the rest of the way. So the catcher took one in a spot that we're all familiar with if we played the game. It's not a very pleasant feeling. You can hear him. He's down there.
Yeah, he's hurt. The coach, the first thing he says is, "Where did it hit you?" And I think that was pretty obvious.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, when you don't hear a lot back on that question, you know exactly what happened.
Another injury that catchers sometimes have, if they don't do a good job of that, is that they get hit in the throat sometimes, and you could swell up in that throat, and it could be a very dangerous type of thing. And this could be a dangerous type of thing.
Yeah, anytime these kids get hit, there's a little bit of concern. It looks like they may make a position change here. We do have a player in the dugout ready to go. And so Amos is going to be helped up by his coaches. The Reds give him a round of applause.
Good sportsmanship there.
And Brown still at the plate. He will still be facing a 1-2 count. 1 out in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. Carolina 4, Huntersville 3. Amos still with his equipment on. Doesn't look like he's moving anywhere. He's going to do some flexibility exercises to make sure he can still move around. Again, as anybody who's ever thrown a baseball, more than likely you've had that injury, and you don't just bounce back from it. It's not one you just shake off.
He's going to stay in there.
think he is. He's getting some water. Whether you get hit in the throat or in that midsection, you probably need something to ease that throat area for all the gulping you're doing. So good job by the young man. Get in there, grab the mitt, grab the mask. He's ready to go.
All right, here we go.
And you've got Ryan Brown at the plate, the opposing catcher, so he certainly understands what Amos is going through. He was in no hurry to get back in that batter's box. As we were talking earlier, some sportsmanship around the plate that folks that haven't played the game maybe aren't aware. When somebody gets hit with a ball, you try to either go have a meeting at the mound, or the batter goes and talks to the coach and gives that guy a chance to.
There's the hitter, the catcher, the umpire. It's just one of those unwritten rules. Those baseball etiquette.
Code.
That's right, it's code.
1-2 count now on Brown. 1 out, bottom of the third. Carolina leading Huntersville 4-3. Pickoff move over to third. Thurman back in time. That just opens up the hole here. That gets away. Thurman going to race home. And Amos, who's still feeling the effects of that injury, can't get to it quick enough. And another run scores for the Reds. They now lead 5-3. And now, 2-2 pitch, and also off the mark. Now a 3-2 delivery coming to Brown with this next one.
I don't think Amos is having a lot of fun at this point.
Amos is not having a lot of fun, and Dowd is not helping him out. Get it to the mitt there, help your catcher out. Don't make him run so much right after that injury. 3-2 pitch, bounces in there, ball 4. And another runner aboard for the Reds.
I would tell you that catcher's tougher than me. I'd be bailing out on that ball that came on the ground that time. I'd be backhanding that thing from the side, straddling.
Oh, laying it, whatever you got to do, deflect it, just push it the other way. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Amos doing a pretty good job back there.
Again, my playing experience at the highest levels, I was more often than not hanging out in the bullpen a lot of the time. And so you hang out in the bullpen, you need something to do, you get down there and you squat and you catch a few, and you maybe don't have the full guard that you should have on, and you'll be laying those in a hurry once you take a couple of those shots.
A lot of fun can be had in bullpens. Who brought the candy? Do you have a guy that...
It's always the freshman, or always the rookie.
The rookie brought the snacks, right?
Usually in a pink backpack, yes. Yeah, always.
That's part of the code, too.
Newcomer has to provide everything for everyone else. Sunflower seeds, bubble gum, anything else the bullpen might require.
That's right.
Runner goes from first, swung on, missed, no contact. Ball gets away from Amos, and Brown at second easily. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Taylor Long, the Reds' left fielder. Long singled and scored last inning. And now this one also bounces in there. Brown over to third, another stolen base. Reds running at will, it seems, right now.
What's interesting is that they've started the runner and swung at the same time a lot of times in this game. And the reality is they can just be stealing second or stealing third without the help of the hitter putting the ball into play.
And one right over the bill of the helmet of Taylor Long fills the count at 3-2. Still 1 down, bottom of the third here. Game 2 of 4 games here today. Pickoff throw not able to get Brown over at third. Full day of action here at the North Carolina qualifier for the Travel Ball National Championship, powered by Nations Baseball and TravelBallSelect.com, the most competitive youth baseball in America, and we've got a competitive one going on right now. Another pickoff throw. Brown this time back on his belly, in safely.
They're trying to control the running game, and I would have liked to have seen them try to control the running game with man on first and man on second more so.
Easier to see him when he's at third when you're a right-handed pitcher, though. Much more aware that he's there. And that one down and away to Taylor Long. Should be ball 4. We're going to let him see another one.
It's a new travel ball rule. It's 5 balls.
4 strikes.
Yeah, 5 balls, 4 strikes in the 4th or 5th inning.
And that one up and in.
That's ball 5.
Ball 5, he's aboard.
There it is.
So
we're going to make a change.
3rd walk in a row. And Dowd's just about out of gas, and that's going to do it for him. Although the 2 runners on base are his responsibility. He's given up 5 so far in 2 1/3 innings.
This is a situation where they can put together a couple more runs, and a couple more runs would make a big difference here. You go to 7-3, it's a 4-run.
That's good math. That California education.
That's right. Public education.
Yeah, but you live near Berkeley.
Would you be able to see the monitor?
Right. It's by osmosis. My GPA and IQ went up just a little bit.
Palo Alto, Berkeley, all that's in your neighborhood.
Stanford was known a little bit for academics as well.
Just a little bit.
Cal Berkeley, #1 public school in the world, according to them. Now, they can't play football anymore very well, which is unfortunate because I'm a big fan. Now, what's interesting, Drew, is that you could probably name more stars from Cal football in the NFL than any team in the country, including any SEC. Now, you're shaking your head. Really? I'm going to throw out some names. You ever heard of Tony Gonzalez?
I know Tony Gonzalez very well. He's part of my Atlanta Falcons
That's
up until this past
right.
year.
You ever heard of a guy named Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers, good.
Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
The ex-Philadelphia Eagle, Deshaun Jackson.
Deshaun Jackson, yes.
And I can name about 7 or 8 others that are pretty prominent, and you would think to yourself, my goodness, they all play for Cal? Well, they had quality, they just didn't have quantity.
Well, I'm a proud supporter of the Georgia Bulldogs, and the Georgia Bulldogs put a fair share of players in the NFL, and the Georgia Bulldogs actually the only college program to ever have 3 Super Bowl MVPs. Can you name those 3 Super Bowl MVPs?
The answer, no. Can you name them?
I can name them. Jake Scott, 1972 Miami Dolphins.
Were you born?
Terrell Davis, Denver Broncos.
Great player.
And Hines Ward with the Pittsburgh
Hines
Steelers.
Ward. Now, what was Hines Ward's, what was his nickname?
What was his nickname?
He had the propensity to play about 4 different. There you go. There you go.
First,
Slash.
it was Hines and then Cordell Stewart.
Yes.
Named Slash. But out at first is the runner, but the run comes home. So that makes it 6-2 now. Reds on top of the Hornets.
6-3.
6-3, excuse me.
A better word.
And now Taylor Long over on third base.
Now, were you born when Jake Scott got his MVP?
I was not born then. No, I am not quite.
I was a 12-year-old. I was playing Little League Baseball. They didn't have travel ball back then.
Well, you and my dad are very close in age.
We wore leather helmets.
Not quite. Close. But close.
There's
Ball
another
inside.
run coming.
Gets by Cameron Evans, gets by the catcher Amos, and now it is 7-3.
That was a big run. You get one more, and there's no such thing as a 5-run home run. Although we didn't think there was such thing as a 5-ball walk.
And we just saw it.
You learn something new every day, Drew. I like this kid hitting.
Today I learned that people played with leather football helmets up until the mid-1970s.
Well, that was on the side. Not in real games, but we had the leather. That was for inside.
Yeah,
Special occasion. Those were our Turkey Bowl games.
Yeah, we played tackle football on asphalt when I was growing up. Nowadays, you probably couldn't get away with that.
Well,
it would be called bullying or something.
The boys in Georgia are a little tougher than the boys in California.
Or we're just smarter. You just make sure you're always landing on top of the guy when you're tackling him.
Right.
He's hitting the asphalt. You're hitting him.
Well,
not quite as tough
we
on the.
land on top of the car because we play in the middle of the street.
Cameron Evans draws a walk. He's on board on first base. 7-3 now. Reds on top of the Hornets. Bottom of the third inning. 2 outs.
He was leaning.
He was leaning, but he got back in time.
Now,
My coach would always tell me that means you got one more step on your lead, you can get out
That's
there.
right. In Georgia, 2 prominent sports, football and spring football.
Absolutely.
Although baseball has become huge in Georgia, East Cobb baseball being, I think, the main reason why the Southeast has really become prominent now. And it's been a springboard for great programs throughout Georgia, throughout South Carolina, throughout Florida, Alabama. The talent level in the Southeast is unbelievable. It really is. Talent level in Texas, talent level in California and Arizona, the Sun Belt area. Just tremendous.
What would you say? Rank your top 3 states in terms of baseball talent, where it comes from annually.
Well, annually, there's 3. California, number 1. They put out as many prospects as Texas and Florida combined.
Nice play at third. Nice play at third base to get Hayden Jackson. And that will end the third inning, but not before. The Carolina Reds can put 3 more on the board and take a 4-run lead. Much more with Rob Bruno on baseball development coming up in the 4th inning as the Hornets come to the plate.
And then what I'm going to tell you is that you are smart enough to be here.
Welcome back to the North Carolina qualifier for the Travel Ball National Championship, powered by Nations Baseball and TravelSelect.com, the most competitive youth baseball in America. Headed to the 4th inning now, where the Huntersville Hornets will be led off by number 12, Corlin Kaufman, and he pops up to the catcher on the first pitch.
You prefer the catcher to turn his back to the infield because that ball is going to come spinning back to him towards the infield. Getting back to our conversation, purely population.
You turn your back in case of what?
Well, the ball's going to come back. It's going to be a lot easier for him to take a step or 2 back to catch a ball than a step or 2 forward when the ball is going away from you.
And also it could alleviate any opportunity if he happens to drift back in fair territory. If he's facing away from the infield, the chances of him knocking it back into foul territory.
Well, if he touches it, it's fair and it doesn't matter.
But if it's borderline and the umpire can't see it, it goes to foul territory. It makes it easier to call that a foul ball.
It can be, but the biggest thing is the spin of the ball. That's the biggest one. And coming forward to catch a ball that's spinning away from you is a very difficult thing to do, and that's why you need to turn your back to the infield.
Okay, perfect. And
ball's up.
Now ball, it's 1 ball, 2 strikes now to Nick Clark, the Hornets third baseman.
Getting back to our conversation earlier, I mentioned California, and that's a population thing. They play great baseball, don't get me wrong. They just have more numbers. That's a nice hit right through the middle.
Up in past the second baseman, and that puts Clark on first base with one out in the top of the fourth.
Other states that are very prominent, Georgia, just because the population is probably number 4, but in reality, as far as the quality of the prospects per capita, they play with anybody. They're as good as anybody. The talent level there is incredible, just incredible. And Arizona and the Carolinas.
I was about to say, where do the folks from South Carolina, North Carolina, where a lot of these teams today seem to be from, where do they rank?
They're right up there, kind of at that next level, and it's only because of population. The quality of baseball they play is with anybody. And again, it's usually, of course, it's not 45, 50 degrees. You get the warm weather states, and that's what happens. It's just about playing a lot of games.
Huntersville catcher Thompson Amos at the plate right now. Ball high. It's now 2-1, and the throw was there in time. Great throw down to second.
A little low, but it was a good throw. Yeah.
You got to expect your shortstop to be able to scoop that and put a tag on the guy.
As a catcher, you certainly do.
Stolen base credited to Nick Clark there. And Amos now faces a 2-1 pitch. Out and away, 3-1.
They also play some great baseball in Louisiana, Mississippi, Oklahoma. The interesting thing also, Drew, is you're getting a lot of great arms, great power arms in the Northeast, in the Midwest, a little bit higher up. Great training. The indoor facilities are incredible these days, all over the country. You might have some poor weather areas, but they're training indoors. One thing they're not doing is overthrowing these guys because they don't play enough, they don't throw enough, and you get some power arms that stay for the long course. You'll see a lot of these power arms coming out of areas that are cold weather areas, simply because they're not getting burned out.
Speaking of burning out, we're seeing a lot of curveballs by these young men today, 12 and under. When, in your opinion, should kids start throwing that breaking pitch and putting that stress on those elbow ligaments?
I think the reality is, we'll come back here.
An easy put out, 1-3 at first base. Both runners advance.
Probably had a play at a second or third. I rather would have got a guy there, but that's okay. They got to sure out. They're up by 4. Let's get an out in that situation.
Now that's 2 down here in the top of the fourth.
In regards to a breaking ball, the reality is if you throw it properly, it's not going to hurt. So the answer is when you can find a coach that can teach you a breaking ball properly. That being said, our program and many programs throw fastballs, and I don't care if you throw 6 or 60 or 90, it doesn't matter, 70% of the time. The second best pitch in the game is a changeup with fastball arm speed. The third is some kind of breaking ball, and you can learn a breaking ball very, very easily. Changeup is the pitch where they really need to master, as far as I'm concerned. And the first thing they need to learn is a well-placed fastball. Get command of that fastball, get command of the changeup, and now we're talking.
Ground ball to short, good with his great arm. Gets Mickey P by a step.
His new nickname might be Johnny D.
And that will retire the side for the Hornets in the top of the fourth. We head to the bottom of the fourth. Reds lead 7-3. Back to the action in the North Carolina qualifier for the Travel Ball National Championship. And we start the bottom half of the fourth with a ball to Tyler White. White, who's having a very good day, both at the plate and in the field, flew out to left field his first at-bat here in this game and swings through one to even the count at 1-1. The Carolina Reds 7, the Huntersville Hornets 3 on a very windy, cold day in northern South Carolina, just south of metropolitan Charlotte. Drew Hinesley, Rob Bruno here with the call for you today. And White skips one into right field, gets past the right fielder. He's going to head into second for a stand-up double to lead off the fourth.
He runs pretty well for a big guy.
His strides are so long it makes it easy.
It sure does.
Unlike a little short guy like me that had to pump them like pistons to get that same distance, he can just cruise on out there and cover the same amount of ground.
Now the perfect thing here would be for that left-handed batter, get on top of the plate, accelerate that top hand, hit the ball to the right side, move that runner along. That would be good baseball. Let's see what happens.
The theory is correct. Let's see if the application can be as spot on. Leans in for a bunt, and again, if you're going to bunt in that situation, you almost would rather him square up early, because in that situation, he reached for it, and his left hand was below his right, which meant more chances to pop the ball up and get an easy out there.
The reality is you're not in a hurry. If you place it properly, you're fine.
Absolutely. You just hate seeing a leadoff guy pop up a bunt, and that was what he set himself up for. A pick off the second, he's back in time.
I'm not sure quite why they're stealing and bunting at the same time anyway.
Another pick off, another dive back safely by Tyler White. And Rob has another time where duty may call him away from us, but
we will be back.
We'll be right here waiting for you. Yes, sir. Go handle your responsibilities.
Thank you. We'll be back soon.
All right. That's Rob Bruno, folks. Very knowledgeable man about the game of baseball. Very happy to have him here with us today in this North Carolina qualifier for the Travel Ball National Championship. 0-1 pitch. Up and away. Did he swing? That's the question. Thurman a little bit late on the swing. It's a 1-1 count. The umpire confirms out in the field with home plate. Now he's asking the pitcher to step off the rubber. He's licking his fingers while he's on the mound and handling the ball, which you're not allowed to do. If you're on the mound, you cannot go to your mouth and then go to the ball. Good job by the umpire there to correct the young man. Now the pitch, runner goes back behind the second baseman who was trying to retreat to his hole. And the ball just sneaks right by him, and Tyler White able to scurry home from second to add another Carolina run to the tally. It's now 8-3 Reds on top of the Hornets. Thurman with an RBI single. He stands at first. And now at the plate, number 3, Joel Haney. Haney saw a little bit of action on the mound today for the Reds. Pickoff back over to first, not in time to get the runner. Haney been up twice already today, reached base once on a single, and then grounded out to the pitcher in his second at-bat. And now Hunter Harrington lets one get away from him, and that allows the runner to advance to second. Wind really picking up out here, as it was forecasted to do in this time of the day. For the next 2 hours or so, we should see some pretty high winds as a line drive back up the middle gets Thurman around third. He's headed to the plate. He touches plate and he scores. And Joel Haney advances to second on the throw to the plate. He has an RBI single. It's now 9-3 Carolina. And if you're the Huntersville coaches, you might want to throw the ball over to third base, just in case Thurman did not put his foot on that bag. I happened to be watching. It looked like he took a step right in front of the bag, but I don't think anyone is wise to that, or else I just was seeing things. And now pitch on the way, driven deep left field. That is up against the wall. Fair ball, and that brings home Haney. And Tadarius Good standing up at second with a RBI double. So just like the first game we had today, as soon as Rob Bruno leaves, that's when the offense shows up. He's going to come back and sit down for the third game. We're just going to send him right away. We love talking to him, but we like offense a whole lot better. It's now 9-3 in the bottom half of the fourth inning. The Carolina Reds taking control of this ball game. And Hunter Harrington of the Huntersville Hornets getting a chat with his head coach. The wind is blowing, the temperature seems to be dropping, and the sun is in and out of the clouds behind us. If anything, it'd be nice if the sun would just stay out and give us a little bit of warmth. That doesn't seem to be in the cards today. Just a very cool day. You see not a lot of folks all in hand just yet. Maybe sitting in their cars waiting for it to warm up. They may just be watching this at home at travelballselect.com as the pitch gets away from the catcher, Amos. And Good advances over to third on the pass ball. (10-3) scoreboard says now, which is correct. And now Blake Sherrill at the plate. Grounded out to the pitcher in the first inning. Walked in the third and scored. In his first game today, a big 2-run home run in the fourth inning to give his team a lead. And they have not trailed since then all morning. Strike right down the middle there. So a 1-1 count now to Sherrill. And that's low, ball 2. And everybody in our crew is bundled up as much as they can be. Just a chilly day. You can see the jerseys flapping in the wind there from our center field camera. The hat flying off the pitcher Harrington now. His first baseman trying to come in, help him out, pick it up. And Smith hands it to his pitcher. As Good was back safely over at third. And now Blake Sherrill back in the box. 2-1 pitch on the way. Bounces in there, ball 3. Good, late break, decides to turn and go back. Did not read that properly from third base. Hard sometimes with somebody in the batter's box and the catcher and the ball skipping away behind both of those individuals to know exactly how far the ball scurried away. Difficult at times to break from third in that position. And now the 3-1 pitch. Inside, ball 4. So Sherrill is aboard. And that should bring out a pinch runner in Thurman as Sherrill rounds first. Tries to create a pickle. Good. Gets back to third in time. Sherrill now runs down to second. He's safe. So some good base running there from the Reds to at least get another runner into scoring position with no outs in the inning. And now Sherrill's going to stay in the game and run for himself this time around. Thurman stays in the dugout. And now at the plate, Ryan Brown, the catcher, watches strike 1 go right down the middle. Oh, 1 count to Brown. No outs in the bottom of the fourth. It's a 10-3 ball game The Carolina Reds in control. Hot shot to second, one hopper. Play to first, he's out. Run scores, it's now 11-3. And Sherrill advances to third on the 4-3 putout of Ryan Brown. And now Taylor Long, left fielder, at the plate. Taylor has singled and walked in 2 plate appearances and scored both times. First pitch fouled back over our heads, strike one. Wind continuing to blow here, everybody huddled up. Some very dedicated parents and fans out here today watching this ball game. Hopefully this is the last taste of winter we get in the southeast. This calendar says spring, but Mother Nature not in agreement at the moment. Now Harrington's 0-1 delivery. Low, ball one. One count, one out, bottom of the fourth. Strike two, catches the outside corner. Swung on, grounded first baseman off the bag. He's going to take it himself and outrace Taylor Long to the bag, but another run comes to the plate. Blake Sherrill scores the 12th run of the ball game for the Reds. As Long has put out 3 unassisted, and now that brings up the lefty, Luke Wright. Ball one outside. That's ball too high. 2-0 count now to Wright. 2 outs now in the bottom of the fourth inning. It's a 12-3 ball game. Carolina really starting to pull away. And now Wright floats one over the third baseman's head. The shortstop can't get there in time. It spins away from him. And Wright aboard with a bloop single. That brings Cameron Evans. Excuse me, my jaw is shivering in the cold. Evans, the extra hitter, and has seen some action out in the field this ball game for the Reds. Runner goes, Evans is swinging. It gets by the third baseman into left field. Left fielder in on the play will hold the runner at second. So that's Evans' first hit of the ball game, although he's been aboard all 3 times he's been to the plate today. So good efficiency out of Evans from the 8 hole in the lineup, and now the 9th hitter, number 28, Hayden Jackson, the Reds center fielder at the plate. Jackson singled in the second inning. Reached in the third, but was put out on a pickoff play. And that one fouled off by Jackson. Jackson is the 10th batter of the inning for the Reds. And the only reason an announcer ever mentions the 9th or the 10th batter coming to the plate is because if he doesn't get retired in this at bat, he's going to mess up my scoring book the rest of the game, because I'm going to have to X out 5 and write in 4 and so on and so forth. But it's a fly ball to left field, and I get away with it. My scorebook is not going to be messed up, at least in the 4th inning. Jackson flies out to left. That ends the 4th, but not before the Reds score 5 runs and distance themselves to a 12-3 advantage. We head to the 5th. Reds 12, Hornets 3. And back underway here now in the top of the 5th inning. And Hunter Harrington leads off the inning with a single to right field.
Get it!
For Harrington, that's his first hit in 3 at-bats, although he's been aboard every time. And now Cameron Finesti watches strike 1. Finesti struck out looking in the first, singled in the third, and was stranded at third. Now flares one to right field. Right fielder playing in the right spot, catches it, throws to first, but the first baseman can't handle it to double off Harrington. Harrington was going on the play, and with the right fielder kind of playing in short right field, it would have been an easy double play had the first baseman come up with that one. Instead, only 1 out now. And a swing and a miss, strike 1 to Ryan Dowd, who started the game as the Hornet pitcher. And ball 1 is high. Harrington steals second. He's in safely. 1-1 count on Dowd. And the pitch outside, ball 2, 2-1 on Dowd. Harrington at second, 1 out, top of the 5th inning. Hornets trail by 9. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Thanks for joining us today for the North Carolina qualifier for the Travel Ball National Championship, powered by Nations Baseball and TravelBallSelect.com, the most competitive youth baseball in America. Ball 3 to Dowd, now a full count. Swung on, missed, strikeout number 2 for Dowd today. Harrington remains at second base now with 2 outs. And in steps first baseman Michael Smith, the left-hander, watches ball 1 sail away on the outside corner. A 1-0 pitch, up and away, but a strike. Evens the count, one ball, 1 strike. Smith hit into a 5-2-3 double play to end the first inning, and then reached on a fielder's choice in the third. That one misses low, ball 2. Two-one count now to Smith. Harrington, short lead at second. That ball up and away. 3-1 count now. Smith has shown a propensity to swing the bat if you just get it in the zone. That one right down the middle. And that fills it up at 3-2. And now the payoff pitch. Up and away, ball 4. Smith aboard with a walk. So 2 runners on, but now a force play at any bag will end the inning for the Reds. And it's Dugan at the plate for the Hornets. Grounded out to short. This ball hit past the pitcher, and it's going to be just in time at first base to record out number 3. So Dugan, 4-3 put out, ends the 5th inning for the Hornets. No runs, 1 hit, and that's the ball game. The Carolina Reds win it. Final score, 12-3. We'll be back with game number 3 after a short break.